Welcome back. I am always, as always, have been, and will be your host. Not really a show, not really a host, but I'm here. I'm the one talking. You're the one listening. So that's the kind of relationship we have. Uh, I hope the audio is coming out good this time. I've been trying to tweak it to get it to come so it's not distorted. I wasn't happy with the audience from the other ones, but it's a process. We're figuring this out, or I'm figuring this out. And the videos have been a bit rambling. That's how my mind works, and I think I've said that before. So I'm trying to be a little more focused with this, so that you get something out of this. Again, this is for my family, specifically my kids, my daughters, um, so that there's something of me left behind that you can watch at your leisure and kind of get a feeling of who I am, because there's questions that we don't ask those that we love when they're alive, because maybe we're not at the right stage of life at the time. It's not important to us at the time. um, so I recognize that, and so I'm trying to put my thoughts down on video so you have that, so that maybe it'll answer some questions you might have when I'm gone, to hopefully help you in life. And this time I'm going to talk about something very important, and that's how you deal with other people. Um, you know, when I was raised, it was the golden rule: do unto others as you have others do unto you. Basically, treat others the way you want to be treated. Um, there's certain things that my parents instilled in me. For adults, people in basically anybody older than you, you try to, you're supposed to treat them with respect. Um, and that could be like saying, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, because the way, the way I was taught, the way I grew up, sir and ma'am aren't insult. They are not insults. They are signs of respect. Now there's never going to be people say, well, not everybody's worthy of respect, and that is true. But the default for when you interact with someone should always be, my first interaction with you is going to be, I'm going to treat you with respect, dignity. I'm going to be courteous. I'm going to be kind, respectful, until such time as you prove to me that you are unworthy of such respect. So, you know, you'll find out in life that when you treat people that way, when you're respectful, when you're nice, that tends to come back to you. Not always, because some people are assholes. Some people, no matter how good you treat them, are always going to treat you like crap. It's the way it is, you know. But there's enough people like that in this world that we don't need to add to it. So, um, this is what I was taught. You're respectful of people, and it's gotten me through life. So, and I'm sure you've noticed it when I talk to people. A lot of times, I'll be, yes sir, thank you sir. Especially the older people. You know, like old people. Senior citizens. And I'm 49, so it's gonna be me shortly. Um, and the reason is those people have lived. They have truly lived. I'm just stop there. What does that mean? They've been through some stuff. Um, Where like my parents and my grandparents, my great grandparents, they lived through the Great Depression, or they lived through the aftermath of the Great Depression. Um, they lived through, you know, at least one World War, maybe another. Um, Korean War, Vietnam War, the Cold War. You know, I lived through the Cold War. Not all of it, obviously, but a good chunk of it. I saw the end of the Cold War. Um, okay, I'm getting a little off track here, but basically, there's one thing, one mantra you should have, or I guess mantra, I don't know if that's the right word, but when you deal with someone, one thing always remember in the back of your head, you have a choice. Okay? You can either be an asshole or don't be an asshole. And, you know, if there's a saying that I try to live by, it's don't be an asshole. You know, so there's many points of interaction with people throughout the day. You can either be an asshole or don't be an asshole. You're driving down the highway, you're in the slow lane, maybe your exit's coming over, maybe traffic's going faster, so you're staying over, um, which is not being an asshole right there, because if you are going slow and you're in the far left lane, you're messing up traffic. That's being an asshole. You know, you get the leftmost lane is for fast people, if you're people who are passing. So unless you are passing everybody on the highway, move over. Okay. You know, and the far right lane is for people going slow. It's also for people merging onto the highway and exiting the highway. So if you're in that far right lane and you see people coming up on the on-ramp for the highway, scoot over if you can. Okay, you won't always be able to, but scoot over. The people trying to get on the highway will appreciate that. You know, um, less chance of causing an accident too. Um, if you're going through the door before someone, hold it open for the people behind you. Not because you think they can't do it for themselves, but because it's nicer to do that than it is to just let the door close in their face. You know, uh, there's a lot of stuff going on these days to where things that I was raised to understand as being polite and respectful are now seen as being rude and disrespectful. You know, like calling someone ma'am. People get it's, it's a term of respect. That's where I'm coming from. If you take it the wrong way, well, that's on you. You took it the wrong way. There's no ill intent coming from me. And if you don't want me to call you ma'am, that's fine. What would you like me to call you? You know, you don't get huffy, don't jump down my throat, you know. I'm not a man, you know, or sir, you know, like somebody call people sir, like, oh, don't call me sir, call me Tom, or call me Mr. whatever, you know, like someone says it to me, I will call them Mr. whatever. But if it's like an older gentleman, you know, um, I'm not gonna feel comfortable calling them by their first name, because to me, that is reserved for like your friends, your peers. So if they're not your peers, then you know it's just it's just the way I was raised. I don't feel comfortable like that, you know. So like one of my best friends' fathers, you know, his first name is Dominic. I will never call him by that name. He's always Mr. D to me because his last name starts with a D. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to put anybody's name out there, but you know, it's I would never call him by his first name. That's just not the way I do things. It's not the way I was raised. Um, and I'm rambling again, but just be nice to people. You know, as a default, be nice to them. You know, if they come back to you as an ass, being nasty and mean, just take a deep breath. Try and continue to be respectful, courteous, polite, because maybe they're having a bad day. I mean, it's not an excuse for them to take it out on you, but maybe they are having a bad day. I mean, I've had bad days where I was short with people too, and I didn't mean to, and I apologized afterwards. Maybe I didn't always get a chance to, but I'd make it a point to try to tell them, sorry, bad day, it's not your fault, didn't mean to take it out on you, that kind of thing. If they continue to be nasty to you, then okay, then you can maybe drop the niceness and just because sometimes people just need someone to call them on their BS. You know, all of us do. There's times I got too full of myself and someone called me on my BS and I was just like, I mean, I got mad at first, but then I went huff and puff and I thought about it and I'm like, yeah, they're right. I was being an asshole. And then, you make it right. Um, I'm not perfect. I far from it. Made many, many mistakes in my life. I will continue to make mistakes until the day I die. I just do my best to learn from them, and that's what you need to do too. Learn from your mistakes. Because the definition, because if you don't learn from your mistakes, you make the same ones over and over. And the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If what you're trying isn't working, try something else. It's just the way things are. And it costs nothing to be nice to someone, to be polite. That doesn't mean don't stand up for yourself. Better than anyone that I taught you not to take crap from anybody, including me. Your mother a lot of times would just kind of stand back like, are you guys fighting? Like, no, we're not. I'm pushing her, so that she maybe feels uncomfortable, and then she will push back to let me know that she's feeling uncomfortable. And that's our job as a parent. I'm not trying to make her feel bad, make her feel like crap, and I've done my best any time that I've tried to teach my daughters anything to let them know that, listen, I'm not being mean to you. If I'm come across as mean, it's not. I don't bear no ill will to you. There's no malicious intent here. I am trying to teach you something. Some lessons are harder to learn than others. So, yeah, be respectful. It's just the world is, I don't know, it's going in a weird direction right now. I'm seeing a lot more disrespect. I'm very happy that people my daughter's hanging out with are respectful. I mean, they're teenagers are doing teenager BS. Whatever. I did the same thing as a teenager. The thing about being a teenager is, and I stand by this, pretty much all teenagers are assholes. I was an asshole when I was a teenager. And it's not, doesn't mean they're bad people. It's just where you are in your life. You don't see it when you're in it, but when you're older and you look back at how you were as a teenager, I wish you could come back to me and say, and tell me about it and say, well, what do you think? The way you acted when you were a teenager, would you act that way now? And the answer is probably hell no, because as a teenager, you're full of yourself, okay? And it's not because you're, narcissist or something. You're trying to figure out who you are as a person. You were a child, now you're a teenager. That's the transition from being a child to an adult, and there's really not a good roadmap for how to do that. It wasn't for me. I haven't seen one for my daughters. Um, you just kind of figure it out. It's kind of like parenting. You figure it out as you go along, because not every teenager is the same. Not every child is the same. You can read 20 parenting books. They'll tell you 20 different things. One of those things may work. All of the things may work. None of them may work. You don't know, because every child is different. Just think of those guidelines. So, it's all right. You know, don't feel bad when you're older and you look back at the way you were as a teenager, and you're just kind of like, I don't like who I was. It's part of growing as a person, becoming an adult. You know, you don't try to be better than anybody else. Just try to be better than you were yesterday. If you do that every day, you're a better person than you were the day before, and you just keep getting better as a person. You know. So, I guess that's about it for this episode or installment, whatever we're gonna call it. Be courteous, be kind, be respectful. Or as General Mattis put it, be professional, be polite, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet. And if you don't understand that, I'm not advocating murder. Look up General Mattis and that quote in particular about where it's coming from. I'm not going to explain it to you. You figure it out, because you get more from it when you figure it out for yourself. And it's specific to soldiers who are deployed, like in Afghanistan, I think, especially. Maybe Iraq. I'm not sure when he wrote it. He was a Marine general. I was in the Army, so I was aware of him. I did not serve under him. At least, I don't think so. Not directly. Maybe in the same chain. I don't know. Who knows? That's not what this video is about. So be nice. Don't be an asshole. Take care.